Okay, guys, this is Weaver936, or at Weaver936, and I'm doing a training video for Fangbreaker's Island. This is this is probably the toughest dungeon in game, at least until spell play comes in, and I believe I like it the most. And it's much more enjoyable when you actually have a team that knows what they're doing and can progress through it. But even aside from that, it's pretty challenging and interesting to play with lower item level people too, and adds a little bit extra challenge. Of course, I've done personally, and I'm sure other people have had horror stories, 4 hour long FBI, and I stick with my people if I get them into it. So, what this is for, what this video is supposed to do is show you a legitimate way to do FBI with not best in slot tunes, and to focus on the mechanics and the little things that you can do in there to make it to where lesser item level people can actually complete the content in a reasonable amount of time. As you'll see here, we've got a 4K DPS, but I mean he's an exceptional TR. We've got an MOF CW. Got me and my little 3.7. But usually I run with a lot lower people and not specific classes. Okay, I do form groups with like an OP tank and a GF buffer and the ACDC, but we ran a 38-minute FBI the other day with an OP tank, an OP healer, no DC, no GF, and we had a two TRs and it was an MO, it was a TR, a CW, a OP tank, and an OP healer, and I think it was another CW, and we made it through in 38 minutes. So when people say you have to have such and such and be such and such and do such and such, it's not true. You can complete this stuff if you know what you're doing, you work together as a team. So what we're going to do now is we're going to queue up for Fangbreakers. What we do in this first part is we crowd control the runners, which are going to be the first orcs you'll see on the hill, or the first orcs you'll see in these different groups. I'll tell you where they are. You'll see where they are as I go through here. I'm informed, right, guys, we're going to need to CC these and then focus damage on these guys. So that axe thrower there is the one that we're focusing on. Because if you do not kill this guy as soon as possible, then these runners, they'll go back to their friends and they'll bring the big giants, which is where a lot of people get caught up, and that's why they get swarmed by just too many ads. And that's where I've seen people just rage quit. Actually, recently, rage quit before we even got through like two groups of mobs, because I guess they were too good to deal with imperfection or something. And what's ironic about that is I actually outdamaged him with my little TR, and he had a GWF at 4K. I'm going to cheat and use these scrolls because this is for training purposes, really. But the idea is to hit these bears. I think it's orcs, then bears, then giants. That's the order you want to do it. Because the orcs, I think, CC, and the bears, they hit hard. The giants are massive, but they're slow. So in order of threat, I think it's orcs, bears, then giants. Don't get hit by this stupid these boulders. You want to keep especially as a GWF. I play my GWF here too, and I found that with my TR and my other tunes, I can actually out DPS damage them a lot of times because they're so busy while they're dying. And dead people can't damage DPS. You have to be very light. You have to be very nimble. You have to know the animations of the mobs, and then stay out of the way. Now, doing of course, up here, you want to come up here. Don't be tricked like I do sometimes. I'll come up here, I'll turn around, and then the new guy runs up there and he gets knocked off the edge. I think that's funny, but they don't think so. So what you do is you trigger the avalanche, and then you come up here, and then here's another runner. He's a battle-tested orc. Now, GF. Oh. If we did not kill that runner, he would have went and got those guys. And we do have a little bit much of these ads right now, but we'll survive, I believe. But it would be worse if we had let that guy get away. But you definitely have to be nimble. It's like Jack be nimble, Jack be quick. Because there's a lot of hits going on, a lot of area covered by there's a lot of AoE going on. So you really have to, you can't just stand there. Of course, a lot of these people, they want, you got that AA going on, the damage immunity, and they'll just stand there like crazy people and take advantage of that bug in the power, in the in anointed armor, or yeah, anointed armor. I think is anointed army. Now I've done about 200 FBIs between my 6 tunes that can do FBI and ESVA. I've got a TR and HR, no, not HR, a TR, a GF, an SW, a CW. A GWF, I think it's 6. Let's just say I've got one of each class in that does this weekly since FBI was opened. So I've done quite a few runs. I have experience in the different classes, how their strengths and weaknesses here, different party builds. And as long as you've got skilled players behind on the other side of the screen, you can pretty much make anything work here. Of course, higher damage makes it go faster, but like with ESVA, surviving is the more important thing. Like I said before, I've ran with people that are a lot less geared and made it through here. We made with Pally healers, which is not normal, and Divine Oracle, DCs, just all kinds of different party makeups. And as long as they're skilled, they follow directions, or at least know what they're supposed to do. Don't rely on all kinds of stupid exploits. We get through it. After we finish this guy, there's another group of giants that doesn't have a runner. We'll finish that group, and then the group after that has the last runner. It's the last group of orcs, or the last group of mobs before Haiti, the first boss. I play on my GF, and I solo tank on my GF. It's a lot harder than I imagine it is for an OP, but I don't play my OP in here, so I don't know. But in my experience, OP tanks end up having an easier time being the primary tank here. Even when you've got a GF and an OP together, I usually assign the OP as the primary tank. Something that a lot of people don't pay attention to, maybe some people do, is that having an OP tank and a GF tank in the same party actually is pretty smart, especially when you don't have all, you've just got your Frostborn or whatever to just barely get in here. Having more survivability is a lot better, because what happens is with a GF, you've got Knight's Valor. That absorbs damage, makes people tankier. They got the bubble from the OP tank, but they also have damage buffs that they both have. With an OP, a tank or healer, you've got Aura of Wisdom and Aura of Courage. Please do not use the Aura of Life here. In this, it's useful, very limited in any content, actually, in my opinion. Because a lot of times what will happen is Aura of Life, it'll res you, and then it'll usually res you in red. And so as soon as you're rezzed, you die, and so you get a double tap. Use Aura of Courage, Aura of Wisdom in an FBI. That maximizes the amount of damage that your party can do. Combined with into the fray of the GF, the Anointed Army of the DC, and Divine Glow and things like other things that the different classes can do, and then you have the MOF CW. The synergy between all these different class buffs makes what people would call undergear tunes a lot more potent. But again, like I say, it's not absolutely essential. You'll find a lot of these elitist groups, they want like 10-minute FBI runs or whatever, and so they'll stack all these buffs and high gear and all of that together so that they can get through it quicker. Well, when I form parties in the channel, the SKT3K channel, what I do is I will try to include the most diverse group, or include everybody in the group. But when we have a weakness in one area, I know it well enough to stack to ask for a specific class or whatever, so that we can cover that slack that one person has. Now here with Haiti, okay, when you go in to the left, there's a cliff. You do not want to be there, because he will knock you off of it. He'll come down we'll go over here and he'll come down, and he's got poison. There's an attack he does that puts poison on you, and unless you use something like barbecued meat, or your DC has cleanse and it procs fast enough, or you have enough damage ticks to make it proc when he's got a low percentage chance, you're going to die from the poison. So usually I just use this barbecued meat. There is something you can get from the summer event, I think is called cured meat. It does the same thing, but what we're going to want to do here is let me get to my powers. This is a pretty straightforward boss. As long as you stay away from the edge and you keep poison under control, then you'll do fine. With a GF, your party can kill the GF if he's using KD, which I still recommend people do, if they don't keep their poison under control. All the guys here you see are from the SKT3K channel, and we have been running together for a bit. Again, I'm not trying to show you how to be the best TR or the best anything, because, and I'm not trying to show you how to do fast runs, because that's one thing I really want to avoid is feeding into this antisocial elitist attitude that's in the community so much, because that really leads to a lot of negativity, as you'll see when people talk about Mod 10. And you probably experienced trying to get into SKT3 content. There's a lot of negativity that really just makes people not even want to do it, or feel that they can't or can't find a group. All that is, in my opinion, a legacy of the elitist attitudes that's been in the community for a long time now. Because if you're exclusive, if you exclude people from running with you, if enough people do that, then you can't find. There's not enough people running the content in the general public to where people that even want to do it won't be able to find a group to do it. So that is, like with most problems in Mod 10, that is a default of the community and not of the content. So in SKT3K channel, what I've done is focused on an attitude of inclusiveness and non-elitism, so that we can find groups more often. They're going to be, if I teach them, or if they're taught well, or shown how to do things well, then they're competent enough to clear content with lesser item level. So lesser item level means more of their alts or their friends can run stuff, and it increases the participation in the actual the participation in the module. Sorry, I'm a little tired. The key here basically is keep poison under control. It's not really complicated, and just burn them down. There's an old saying. Someone told me one time. He said, "My daddy always told me, son, in this world you either have to be smart or strong." And I think he said, it's good advice, but in this game it plays out the same way. Is you either have to be smart or strong. It's good if you're both, but if you're not strong, or if you're not smart in content, having higher item level really helps. But if you're higher item level, it doesn't necessarily mean you're smart. So I try to focus on teaching people stuff and having, helping them to look at things in a more comprehensive manner instead of simplistically proceeding through game. Because there's so much of this game that you will not find out unless you personally test yourself, which costs time and money, or someone will have to show you. And so with that in mind, what I've learned and developed, or what I've learned in this game, or what I've learned in this mod, and what I've learned from the game, or in the game since Mod 3 when I started playing, I try to share that with other people, because it's not something you'll find on the forums usually. And Hades dead. I do understand this is taking some time. And I thank you for watching this video as far as you have. This is the first boss. I don't know how long it's been. I didn't look and see when we started. But it may be that me talking could cause it to seem like it's taking longer than it is. Here, you got all the, oh no, I didn't switch my powers to smoke on. I might die. Here, CCE helps a lot. This is like the CWTR's playground here. Because as you'll see, there's a lot of these little mobs. And this is just to get what's-his-face to the door. So he can start trying to, or to the wall to try to melt it. But in a second, we'll call him. You need to call Ewan Rolled. And the tank needs to pull the ads to the center here so we can AoE them. But they don't always do so. You want to increase the speed that you proceed through here? Do more than one group at a time. After this part here, it's going to be another little section where we have to fight them off again, and then we'll go to the Dragon Turtle, which is the test of tests. If you get to the Dragon Turtle, you're like, oh, we're doing great. Yeah, the Dragon Turtle is the place where it's gonna separate the men from the boys. Once you do the Dragon Turtle, if you can beat the Dragon Turtle, that's the hardest part. I'll give you some pointers when we get over there about that. In the SKT3K channel, we are not allowed, I do not allow asking for a specific item level. I do not allow you to post 4.3K GWF looking for blah blah blah. If the idea is to avoid discrimination and also avoid favoritism. If you don't want to be discriminated against, please don't ask me for favoritism either. You'd be surprised at how many people come to Weaver looking for, giving me the sob story of, hey, I just unlocked such and such and I haven't got my gear yet, and, it would be nice if you could take me for the first time up there. But I've got 900 other people to worry about. And if you don't want me to look at you and say, okay, you've got 3.2K item level, barely able to get in, you don't have any bondings, please, don't expect favoritism either. So we avoid the posting item level in chat, because it's more about skill and people than gear and pets and all that. And besides, you got freaking like a ton of channels that are all like that. If you want to find a speed run, I'm sure you could. Don't try to use our channel for that. If you're concerned about it taking too long for us to go through this stuff, you can always just, click ahead. Go to where you see the turtles standing there and you can see about the boss fight or whatever. But I would hope that you would pay attention, or, watch all of it, all of this video, so that you can understand that you're not, if you're looking for good people to associate with, to do content with, and not just SKT in the future. In this channel, we will always have an SKT content only, but I have another channel that I'll be using for SPC and other things and every other content. But if you want to know that you're not alone, that you don't have to deal with elitist jerks all the time, looking at you like you owe them something just because they exist. You have to qualify to get into their group or something. If you're looking to run with people that actually care about people and not pixels, then our channel is the good place for you. And hopefully you can tell by my voice, my attitude, and this video that it's not about the pixels, dude. There's nothing more discouraging to play an MMO and still, after all of that, all the people in game, to still feel like you're alone. That's doesn't have to be. Now with this, okay, we're going into the Dragon Turtle. What I tell all my guys to do all the time: DC, DPS, go to the left with me and get close to the turtle. You hear people say, oh, you need to stand back, you need to be at range, but what are you going to do with a GWF at range? So what we do is we get the tank, whether it's a GF tank or an OP tank, has to be nose to nose with the turtle all the time. Because if you do not get hit, if the turtle misses his primary target, he will do a slam. He will rise up and slam, and that gives him a damage buff. You get to 7 or 8 damage stacks of the slam, then most parties will wipe at that point. So this is about survivability. DPS helps a lot. If you can burn him down before he can even have a chance of slamming, then yeah, whatever, great. But for most people that are coming into FBI, what's going to be important is that you make sure that he doesn't slam, because even if he's not getting his stacks, if he's not getting his damage buff, then you could practically be there all day, and eventually get him down. But if he's getting that stack, then you're kind of stuck, and eventually he will win. You're going to have a good balance of stack prevention and damage. Even someone that sits there and spams AA and it does the damage immunity, that helps a lot, but it's not something that you can really completely rely on, because if you're not preventing the slams, it's just a matter of time before he gets you. Alright, let me tell these guys, DC, DPS to the left with me. And the tank here already knows to stay nose to nose, that's why I haven't told him to. I like to debuff him because my little TR, he's not the greatest damage dealer, so I'll debuff and support the primary DPS. That's another thing too. Don't everybody try to be the top DPS. If you see that somebody outclasses you, for sure, then go to the support role. Know your team your class well enough to know what you can do to help your team overall damage go up. And with the TR, one of the things we can do is we can reminder. Oh, what am I looking for? Little buff pots and potions and all the little goodies that cost all kinds of money. So, I've never done this with just staying ranged. Okay, so out of 200 runs, my little strategy of gathering to the left has almost always worked. And I have like a 95% or whatever success rate. And I don't run with all high-end people. Like I said, we did the OP tank, OP healer, TR, CW combination, and we still did it in 38 minutes. Always check your pets here. Always check your pets here, because They can run across here and then die, and then you get in there and your pet's stuck. I mean, your pet is dead and you lose a lot of your damage. So now we're going to go up here. Again, I'm not trying to show you how to be the best TR, because I'm not it. Basically, as long as you can prevent those stacks, with a GF here, KB is very important. Because even if he doesn't hit, even if he hits the tank directly, he's still hitting. It's kind of like an AoE snap. Here's the slam. We're about to get one stack, and it doesn't seem to be 100%. It's some people think it's RNG that you get when you get a slam or not, and it's not. It's if the turtle can hit his primary target. If the tank is doing his job, and there isn't some little fluke or whatever, then that primary target's always going to be the tank, even if we're up close like that. Here, the goal is not the only way that you want to hit these runes are if they're way too close and they're going to explode on you, or if it is between you and the turtle. Like, not like that. Oops. If it's clear that you're going to get hit by his breath, you're going to want to, like for the AC/DC, you're going to want to do the AA. Or what I usually say is, for when we first go into the rune part, GF, turn your KV off, because the KV will end up proccing these runes and this randomly. But if he's about to do his spray, you either do the bubble, you do the AA as a DC, or you turn your KV back on. That way your party doesn't get wiped. You can always use Scroll of Mass Life to res people, but it's really expensive. But the idea is to hit the turtle with the runes, not just randomly hit the runes, because what ends up happening is that he'll pop his head up in a place where you just, you hit the rune, and that could have been the rune that actually you could have lined up to hit him, to get him to start this phase again. And here's another slam. So far I've got 3 slams now, which isn't bad. Just again, we're trying to avoid getting up to 8, 9, 10. Be careful with melee pets, and with me as a melee yourself. You can end up running off the edge here, or the pet can end up running off the edge. That's how a lot of people will lose their pet. It's because they attack one of the runes, and then the pet, being a melee pet, goes after it, and he ends up running off the edge, which is silly. But yeah, that's not fun. If you do end up getting, see, I just hit that one. If you do end up getting knocked down and you get res, like you have that res sickness, if you go to the far side of the platform here, and hopefully this isn't an exploit or whatever, go to the far side of the platform, and you're out of combat, so you can use that to res your pet again, or to bring your pet back, or to put down an altar. To clear your res sickness. When forming teams for FBI, if you're the one that's forming the team, you need to pay attention to people's gear. I'm not saying go 4.3 and rank 3 rank 12s and all that. Just pay attention enough to know what you need to fill in. because it's not fun to be discriminated against because of your item level or your gear, and it's certainly not fun to not be able to find people to run with because you don't know how to form a party to cover the weakness of one of the members. And you had some lag. All right. I actually like FBI a lot more than I like ESBA. There's less people involved, but you can be more, conversational with people in FBI, and it's I think it's more interesting. With ESBA, you've got all this kind of like knee-jerk stuff going on, but with FBI, it's a bit more sort of drawn out, which is true, but you get to know people better if you want to. And if somebody has a bad attitude or does something, just really doesn't know what they're doing, you have a chance to, deal with that situation. As a channel leader, that helps me a lot. Because it's hard to see in ESP what's going wrong. It's hard to know if you're doing right or, anything in ESP. But in FBI, it's long enough and spread out enough that you can tell what exactly you're doing wrong. Now this here he's about to die. Once he's dead, what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to dismiss your pet, turn KV off. Woo. He likes to get his revenge at the end sometimes. But what you do now is you dismiss your pet, because you dismiss your pet to turn KV off, and then you go up here without aggravating anything until the boss. Because there's no reason to fight them when they're fighting themselves. That's smart. And some people say it's stupid to skip a whole thing. Well, why would you fight an enemy that you don't need, that's standing between you and your primary target or your primary objective when you don't have to because they're distracted with somebody else? I like this sneaky part, especially as a TR. So when you go in here and you'll see on the minimap, there's going to be little diamonds that you need to loot those little stashes, and you're searching for the Ring of Winter. The Ring of Winter. Once you get through that part, is going to be the final boss. And it looks like this guy has lag issues, poor guy. So, you go in here. I always go to the right, but there's some over there too. And don't worry about getting res, just release. And go where they haven't dug it yet. Excuse me, sorry. But if your pets were summoned, your pets would engage these things and you'd stay in combat, or you'd end up pulling the mobs over here to the door. What has to happen is that you have to get out of combat in order to you dig those, you check those sites, you get out of combat over here, over by the door, and you can click on it to open it. But if the mobs are too close, then you can't click on it. So what part of the strategy is to go over there and distract them, so that one of your guys can open the door. Then you come over here. Even if you die in these circles, it's still going to let you go through to the other side. So here, what you do, resummon your pets. Make sure to check your pets. I'm keeping my debuff set up. And there are things you can do that are notorious. I don't like to do that. Unless we died 15 times at the freaking turtle. But, yeah, we try to avoid doing the exploits and stuff. And I'm not going to show you in this video how to do it, so... And the AA damage immunity thing is not smart either. So what we're going to do is we're going to try to do it the right way. So this part here, it doesn't do you any damage. He'll go over there, he'll do his little blizzard thing. It's annoying more than anything. What he'll do, what a lot of melee don't like is because he'll run all over the place, or she'll do 3 charges, like she just now ran. She should do another one. Maybe not. There's another one. And then it'll be a 3rd one, I think, if she didn't already do it. But here, these AoE swings that you see that AoE swing that she just did? That will hit the permafrost shards that come up. You don't want to get caught in them. If somebody gets caught in them, you want to release them like you do in the SVA. But there's an easy tell that'll show you, that'll let you know, okay, it's about time and I need to get out the way. There's that right there. You see how it lifts her sword straight up? Well, that's a sign that she's going to do her bring the shards. What you want to do as a tank, bring her away from the shards, because if you keep her over there, she's going to do an AoE and hit those permafrost shards. What you need them to stay there for is that when she does her Call of Winter, she'll stand over on that side, and then she'll do an AoE attack that will wipe the team if they don't do something like the AA or whatever, or if they don't hide behind the permafrost shards. So the tank needs to pull Droopy away from the ice. The only time you want to hit that ice, or have her close to the ice, well, the only time you want to hit the ice is if somebody's trapped in it. This way you can run with Divine Oracle DCs, or, OP tanks, or OP Pally, or OP healers, healers, and not have to worry about, oh my god, we have to have AA, or else we'll get wiped when she does Call of Winter. FBI can go much quicker, no doubt. But to do that, you have to exclude yourself from running with other people, and that limits the amount of runs you can do. To me, elitism is more or less self-destructive. Unless you're part of the cool crowd, and then, it's great for you, but it's not so great for everybody else, is it? Now that's Call of Winter. You want to hide behind the permafrost. Put the permafrost between you and her. If you don't, you'll get wrecked. Unless, of course, you use the broken anointed army. From what I'm told, SBC is going to be as hard as, if or maybe even harder than FBI. So I think if you think that FBI is too hard, well, I don't I don't know what to say. That's the thing about Mod 10 is that it's more about interacting with other people, cooperating with them, than being like Superman. People make this content much harder than it has to be, just by the attitudes they have towards each other. It's a summary of all of Mod 10. It always does a 3 charges, so it's annoying to have to chase her. So if you know basically what she's going to do, where she's going to be, you don't really have to do a lot of running around. And she's dead! No more Droofy! That's not too bad. You come on over here and you get your loot. One of the good things about FBI is that you can, it's not, I don't know, it depends on what they do in Model 11 with relics, what you can buy with Monoblood. But you do get relics here. And it could theoretically, I mean, along with all the other possible loots you can get here, you can also get the legendary rings for your pets and all that. But you also get Monoblood, which, depending on what you can do with it, in Mod 11 could be kind of profitable. When FBI first came out, some people made a lot of AD just from farming FBI repeatedly doing the Vana Blood 10-town supplies thing, and they made like millions of AD. That's one of the good things about this mod that's come out, is that the devs seem to have included a lot of ways for just an average player, like the fishing stuff, just an average player to make some AD to catch up in the gear department. Because obviously they're planning on 3.1 being the new, standard. So I think that's pretty much it. It's a full FBI run with not the best team, but definitely a good team of knowledgeable players. It's so much more enjoyable to run with people that know what they're doing than just the high enders. And you don't take a risk in our channel. For the most of the time, you're running with good people, and they're not going to cuss you out for making a mistake. They're going to give you advice, even some tips on how to play your tune better, which will help you in all aspects of the game, not just the content here. And who knows, you may actually find a friend that'll stick with you throughout the rest of the game. In SPC and mod 12, 13, whatever. Hopefully this video has been educational, helpful, and it has been worth your time. Like I said, I've been running groups since the beginning, and all kinds of success, all kinds of mean people that I've had to kick from channel too. But for the most part, it's been very enjoyable, because you run across good people. When you have challenging content, people actually have to work together. You actually find the good ones. You find the bad ones too, but in the right atmosphere, with the right attitude, with the right people, this can be it can be challenging and very enjoyable too. I hope y'all, if you're looking to participate in SKT content, and we will continue on, not in SKT 3K channel, but with another channel made up of a lot of the people from SKT 3K. We're going to venture forth in the other content as well, but also still be doing SKT 3K or SKT, because mod 10 is still going to be relevant, still going to be valuable, still going to be beneficial in mod 11 as well. So if you're interested, give me a mail, send me a message or a mail. It's to @Weaver936 in game, and I can get you in the channel. And as long as you're willing to stick to SKT only content in that channel, and not post your item level or be all like trying to steal support for SKT content, we'll be fine. And we can help each other progress in the game. I'm not the best speaker, but have fun and good luck. May all your crits, all your drops be legendary and unbound, and may all your hits be crits.